Habits are very important to be observed both by yourself and also by your spouse. And spouses ought to observe each other's habits. We talk about the positive ones and also the negative ones, because that helps us to see ourselves where we cannot be able to see unless we are intentional and unless we have good accountability partners. So in other words, our spouses ought to be our best friends. And also, we ought to be their best friends. Now, you might say, but for me right now, she or he is not. It is okay. You can start to cultivate that. Because today, I have never seen someone who told me that my best friend, I was born when I have my best friend, including twins. As they grow, they cultivate their best friendships. They are not born even understanding what the word friend is. So that's why, regardless that your marriage is about to start, or it has already started, or you've been 10 years married, 11, or even 60, it doesn't matter. You can still cultivate friendship and best friendship. You are saying, but we don't share about everything. You have to start, because that's what authentic marriage is all about. But why habits are supposed to be discussed even before we start to live in the same house? It's because we don't want unnecessary surprises that are going to disappoint us, that are going to make it difficult to believe or to trust the other person that is going to marry us or that we are already married to. So, you are a young man, you are a young woman. It is important to let them know your habits, but also it is very important to let them know the habits you used to struggle with majorly, but now which you no longer. It can be addiction in your past. Why? Because if a wave comes, if something comes that can take you back, it becomes easy for you to openly tell them, I can feel something pulling me. So, in other words, when we hide things that we used to struggle with our spouses, it makes it harder even to let them know when that thing comes back. I'm not saying that you who used to do that or this, you're going to go back. No. But I'm saying we've seen some habits that we used to do back in the days trying to knock on our doors. And we've seen men and women, husbands and wives, struggling with it alone. Why? When they met with the guy, they avoided to say that, you see, for me, long time ago, I used to do sex with 10 men at once. Per week, I used to have sexual intercourse. Me, as a man, you see, I used to eat and drink the crate of beer alone. I used to smoke packets of cigarettes in a day. You refuse to address that because you don't want to kind of look bad. You want to be seen by this pastor you are, by this elder you are, by this deacon you are, by this church guy, by this church woman. You avoid to say that me who you see before I became serious with God. I used to sleep with all of these pastors you see. One day, if the Pandora box opens up, we had mentioned that some days back, it will be a fight. But even more, one day when those desires start to arise again so that you can go back and do the old things. I'm not saying that you go, but I'm saying the power to resist. It will be harder simply because you did not share with your spouse. You see, now this time you are afraid if I tell them that I'm desiring to go back to take cigarettes. I had told my wife I never tried any drugs. I never tried any smoking. What will she say? Let me tell you people, our spouses that we received from God, they are not there to be decorations. They are there to help us overcome things that sometimes on our own we cannot overcome. Don't, I know some of you are like, no, the Holy Spirit is the one who teaches us. The Holy Spirit is the one. Listen, stop that. The Holy Spirit can teach you through whichever and through whoever he pleases with. Let me ask you, if that is true, why do you go to church? Why do you accept to be taught by pastors, evangelists, teachers, apostles? Why don't you just stand and say, for me, I don't want. The Holy Spirit will teach me. Why do you go to school to learn mathematics, biology, science? We talk about chemistry, talk about social studies, history. Why don't you stay at home and say, for me, I'm a good teenager who is Christian, who is saved, and I love Jesus? You, why are you still pursuing PhD? Why don't you stay at home and then the Holy Spirit will just bring PhD to you? I believe the Holy Spirit, the Father and the Son who created the world, they won't fail to create a good certificate and bring it to you. Believe me, they can. If they created this body we see in your mother's womb, I don't think the certificate that is made out of wood, that they will fail to make it. So you see, let's stop hypocrisy. Our spouses are not decorations. Our spouses are not objects that just came to be added in our lives and then we can put them aside whenever we want and move. Not forgetting. One guy, this is what he said. If you are not faithful to your marriage and you are cheating, either financially, either sexually, emotionally, whichever, that even if your spouse never get to know it until you die or both go to heaven, your marriage, you always know it. What did he mean? If you are not faithful in money, your marriage, there are some needs that won't be provided for because you are taking it in another place, providing it to another person. We talk about if you are infidel sexually, the desire you are destroying while giving it outside, your wife, your husband will not be desirable as they ought to be desired. Your spouse might not feel it. They might think it is pressure at work, it is the baby, breastfeeding, and all of those things. But guess what? It doesn't fail to affect them and their productivity and their effectiveness in your marriage setup. So never fail to understand that your bad habits, whether your spouse gets to know them or not, they eventually affect them, whether they want it or not. So no habit that is an island. What do I mean? You can't say for me, I'm an island on this mountain. My drinking problem, my gambling problem, my smoking problem, my fornication problem, my adultery problem, it is mine. Let me even put it this way. Including even you who are singles, whatever you are doing today, you are stealing from your marriage or you are preserving your marriage. Every date you are going to that is not necessary, that you are not supposed to go to. Every kiss you are having with a man, a woman you are not supposed to. Every sexual intercourse, every inappropriate touch, everything, every misuse of money, habits you are building, waking up, not making bed, not washing clothes, just being there and not being accountable. You don't want any person, any pastor, any teacher, you are an island. The day you get married, it won't change overnight. And it will even become harder to change. Because you cannot be married to someone and you can't accept them when they say you can't do this and you should do this, or whether you feel it or not. So long as it is true scripturally, what they are asking you, what they are telling you, whether you feel it like a command or not. If you don't do it, then you are communicating something. You don't love them by your action, regardless of how many times you mention it with your mouth. You and I today, we need to decide. What are the habits we have that we would wish our spouse to know, or that even we don't wish our spouse to know, but which are a must for them to know? Mostly those that are negative, because the positive ones, they are very easy. We reveal them. We reveal them immediately. When I'm good in reading, when I'm good in teaching, I'll make sure I do that automatically. And also you husbands and wives, please, when your spouse tells you what they're struggling with, receive them with love. Even you now who will be sharing your struggles, don't expect your wives to be, receive you as if it is a romantic song you're singing to her. No. So also you be expected at some point. She might react or he might react. But please, if possible, in your power, husbands and wives, don't react. Instead, they respond. Some of these habits, they are very breaking. You cry, you sweat, you fidget, you will not even have anyone to reply. But please, just appreciate that she or he has trusted you to still come and talk to you. Not because it is a favor he's doing to you, but because he prioritizes your marriage and you over hiding their struggles. Please get to appreciate that always. When someone shares you their weaknesses, don't use it to trample on them and demean them. And if you dare do that, please always come back immediately and apologize. Because you are telling them you are not a reliable person and you are not a reliable partner and you are not a partner he can take you or she can take you to be accountable to. And next time, he should never come or she should never come to you. And whether they know that that's what you are saying or not, believe you me, I want you to check the last time your spouse told you something and crushed you. Next time it happened, how free were you to go to tell them? So our response builds the good platform for these people to come. Not because they will take it for advantage and always wrong to us, but because it is very important that we receive them with love and with care. So my question to you today is, what are you doing that you shouldn't do? And what are you doing, or what are you not doing that you ought to do? Approach your spouse, please. You can't imagine how much they will help you